If you have a Mercedes and you wish to fit a dashcam, but you want to avoid a dashcam looking like this with wires hanging down, you want something professional integrated into the mirror housing, then look no further. Hello everyone, it's Wilson here and a warm welcome back to my channel. In this DIY tutorial, I shall be fitting a front and rear dashcam into a Mercedes C238 E-Class Coupe behind me. The camera I'm going to fit is supplied by a company called Fitcamx. So they do professional looking OEM cameras that integrate into the mirror housing. They do cameras for a wide selection of Mercedes across this range. Right, without further ado, let's see what's inside the box. You can see straight away the camera is a 4K spec, and I'll show you some of the specs written on this box. It's got Wi-Fi connectivity, so there's an app on your phone, on your Android or Apple phone. The camera is purely managed with an app, so you can do all your settings via that. You can also download video footage and watch live video as well. Loop recording functionality, so it records over the oldest footage on the SD card. A G sensor, super wide angle, and a wide dynamic range, so it's good at nighttime recording as well. So one thing I'd like to mention as well, it also comes included with a SD card, 64 gig or 128, depending on which one you order. And let's reveal the contents of the box inside. So straight away, the main unit, the front camera, is a replacement mirror housing, you can see, which incorporates the camera and replaces the OEM cover on the front cam. So under the cover you have a couple of connections. So this is a front and rear camera version. Yeah, just be aware, if you order the front camera only and then decide to install the rear camera, they won't be compatible. So make sure you order the right one if you want the front and rear or just the front. So this is the front and rear, so obviously it will have the rear camera input, as you can see there, and the power connector. This is the rear camera, simply looks like this, stuck onto the rear with the wiring loom, which I'll run in later. I'll put that to the side. That's the wiring harness for the front module. So that connects to the connector there for the power, and then this loom connects to the OEM loom of the rain sensor under the mirror housing. Right, what else we got in the box? So we got this little front clip which clips onto the front section, part of the front housing. We'll leave that there. So it comes with a USB card reader, so you could put the card reader in there and plug it into your PC USB to download the videos. That's cool. Comes with a trim removal tool, so that's handy to keep. And then a load of clips for the wiring harness for the rear cameras, a load of that, and obviously your instruction manual with a QR code to download the app onto your phone afterwards. I'll show you the rest of the camera. So that's the camera at the front, and on the side is a SD card slot which houses either a 64 or 128 gig depending on which one you order. So they actually supply that, which is quite good. So you've got a couple of buttons there at the bottom. One's a power button on the right, and although the unit does switch on and record automatically, you can stop and start it with that button. There's also a button in the middle for a camera, so I assume that's for taking a picture. And you've got three holes. One of them's a microphone, one's a LED status light, and the other one's a reset button. Okay, let's start by removing the original mirror cover housing with this included trim removal tool. So I'll see if I can pop this off gently. So hopefully it will just push down like this. There you go, that's come off. It actually came off quite easy actually. So I'll do the other side, I'll do the same, and just pop it in. There you go. So that came off really easily, didn't have any force whatsoever, so that's good. Now you've got to release this front section cover. Right, for this front cover here, you need to use this trim removal tool, this metal section, because there's a clip right at the top. I don't know if you can see, just about see it, that little clip there. You need to push it inwards and then that will release this cover down. It's a bit hard to film because it's right hidden in there, but I'll get it off and I'll show you afterwards. Right, finally got this clip off. It took about 5 minutes because I was trying to work out how to unclip it. So you see these little lugs here, you see it? You need to push it with either a screwdriver or a trim removal tool like this. Push it forward and then that cover will pop down, and you do the same for the other side. Push this clip forward and then this cover will come off. So this cover housing should just sort of slide off and come off, so I'll just show you. So I think you push it forward. Once you put it down, push it forward like this, and it comes off. And there you go. So that's the cover off. So that bit was the easy bit. Before finishing the front dashcam install, I'm going to install the rear camera because that's more involving. So I started off at the rear. I've just measured it roughly in that position, and then I've put the wire on the top of the headliner all the way down here at the side, down this pillar, and then I'm going to run it along the headliner at the leading edge where the rubber seal sits, literally there behind the trim, and then all the way down to the front and across to the front camera housing. So I'm going to finish off putting these cables behind this headliner. So I won't show you all that, that's pretty straightforward. You just tuck it under, and then we'll move on to the next stage once we've done that. Right, after about half an hour, that's all done. We've got some excess cable, we're going to need a cable tie, but I've literally, this bit was actually quite easy, you know, it just tucks under the headliner, like I said, from here, from the pillar. So now we've got some excess cable, we're going to cable tie it now, and then finish off the rest of the install. Right, so I'm going to do the wiring loom first. So this wiring loom that I've got in my hand here, there's a Y-link cable which needs to fit in a series of the rain sensor connector. So this connector, you need to press, there's a little clip in the middle here, you've got to push it up like that and then just pull it off. There you go. So it's quite simple really. Okay, so now you simply, so the one from the car loom I've just taken out goes into the supplied loom with the camera. So that just plugs in, clicks in like that. And then the other end of it, this one here, goes back into the original rain sensor in here. Simple as that. And then I'm just going to tidy the loom up so it all looks neat and tidy with the rear camera input. And then we'll move on to the next step. All there's left to do now is to connect the power into here, and then the rear camera into the rear camera loom, which is here. So these plugs only go in one way. There's a notch on the round connector. Make sure you line it up on both sections, the power one, and then plug them in. So I'll do that now. I'll do the power one first actually. So just line that up. Okay, that's the power one in. And that's the rear camera in. Right, last but not least, the cover needs to go on. I put cable ties all the cables together so that it's kind of neat. Well, neat as I can. This is probably the tricky bit. Let's see how it'll go in. So hopefully it should just go in. Right, let's have a look. It's tricky, So there's a bunch of wires because the excess wire from the rear camera, that's the problem. Let's try again. Let's try and move that forward a bit. I managed to move all the wiring loom forward this way, and then I managed to get the back clips on, so they just push on. So it's just the front section to push up now. So I just need to push this up and then push this in. Right, let's have a look. Let's get the wires out the way, make sure there's no wires trapped on the leading edge. Right, okay. Right, last bit. Come on, fingers crossed. There you go. Done it. And that's flush, you can see that. Oh, not too hard now. Now I've done it. It's just working out where to put the wires. You know, like I said, the wires are, you can see it's all here, but that shouldn't be a problem. You won't be able to see it now. Right, the last bit is the front section clip, this one here. So this one should be pretty straightforward. So just slides on and then clips up. So I'll give that a go. So you can see there, and then just simply slide it on like this. Make sure it lines up. Bear with me. It's all done now. Now I'm going to go on to the rear camera and finish that off before we're moving on to the next stage. And that's the final piece of the puzzle, the rear camera. So I've stuck that down in the center of the windscreen, and I'll just show you as well, because you can adjust this camera with the rotational bit here, so you can twist it, see that, and adjust the angle of elevation. So we'll play that later. Let's download the app and see if we can do a test footage. On the user manual, there's a QR code where you can download the Fitcamx app. So once you download the app for whatever phone you have, Apple or Google, install it onto your phone. So we have an Apple phone here, so we've installed it already, but you need to do the Wi-Fi first. So in the Wi-Fi settings, you need to make sure that you pair up your Wi-Fi to the cam, which we've done already. And the password is in the user manual, is 12345678. So we've done that already, and we are connected to the camera, as you can see. And when you launch the Fitcamx app, it already detects the Wi-Fi connection to the camera. So if you click connect camera, and within a few seconds, there we are, we have image. So we've got two cameras. You can see the rear camera is superimposed into a little corner, and that's the front camera there, the main section. But when you can view each camera separately when you download the files, but essentially that's what it looks like. So we can see it's working. There's camera settings in there which you can set up all your usual settings, like if you want sound recording, if you want to change your resolution of the camera. So currently it's set to 4K 2160. You can change it to 1440 as well. So we'll leave it on 2160 for now. And other settings that you have is loop recording duration. So you can select a duration of 1 minute or 3 minutes. So we set that to 3 minutes. Exposure compensation is currently set to 0. So that's how much compensation you want to set for the exposure depending on your likings. But I'm going to leave that on 0 on a default for now. You have timestamp settings. You have driver collision, so that it will save your current recording should you have a bump. So currently it's set to medium, but you have least sensitive, medium, or most sensitive. So I'll leave it on medium for now. Now, parking mode, I've not talked about that. Now, most cameras do have parking mode, where if you've left your car off and someone bumps into your car, it will record it. If you want parking mode, you need to order an additional wiring harness from the Fitcamx website. I didn't order it because we don't need it, but if you do need it, you need to order that separate harness which can enable parking mode. So therefore we are leaving that set to off on my one. And then down there you've got all the Wi-Fi names, etc., and format. You can format the SD card as well, which we'll actually do because they do recommend you to format the SD card when you first use it. So let's do that. So that's formatted. Essentially, that's it. There's not much to it, to be honest. There's camera files as well if you want to download all your footage. So let's see if it comes up with any footage. So that's the current footage that we've got at the moment. So you can view, like I said, you can view the front camera footage that is recorded, and you can view the rear one separately, individually, and download them individually. Time for a test drive. I'm going to go out, drive around, get some footage, and then I'll post what the front camera and the rear camera quality looks like. So whilst we're driving around to give you guys some footage, I'll just show you the installation again, close up. So very professional OEM like, I like it. The only thing you'll notice is the little bulge at the bottom, but apart from that, it's a very nice installation. You wouldn't know from the outside that you've got a dash cam fitted. Right, so at the moment we are driving around with the front camera set to a resolution of 4K 2160p with 30 frames per second by default. So there's no options for 60 frames per second, but to be honest, I think it's fine with 30 frames per second because I currently use on my other vehicle a next-based camera which only runs at 1080p at 30 frames per second, and straight away I can see this one is a lot more detailed than my other camera that I use. The resolution is brilliant. It's really detailed. You can see on the tree leaves there, it's, you know, it's much more detailed than a 1080p. The exposure, brilliant. I don't have any issues with it, as you can see. When you're coming up to the cars, I could read the number plate really well, so it comes out no issues whatsoever. It doesn't glitch, that's a good thing, so it's nice and smooth. And the video footage is actually quite stable. The picture doesn't jolt or vibrate when you go over ruts or potholes in the road. I've seen worse on other aftermarket dash cams, so a thumbs up for this one. So coming up to the traffic lights, you can see this is a 3-lane wide junction. The field of vision is very good. You can see all 3 lanes, you know, absolutely fine. So the field of vision is no issues whatsoever. The front camera is more than satisfactory. So now we come to the rear camera. So the specification for the rear camera is a 1080p camera with 30 frames per second. You probably see that the image is slightly darker and blurry. Now there's 2 reasons for that, because obviously one, the camera is facing out of a tinted rear window, so it's tinted rear windows by default on this Mercedes model, hence why it looks a bit blurry as well. And also the screen was quite dirty, we didn't clean it. You can see all these little marks in the screens in the video, but overall it's not too bad. I mean, you could still read the number plates and you could see most things quite clearly. So you've got a car coming up behind us now, and you could definitely read the number plate as it comes nearer to us. So coming up to the traffic lights, we've got cars coming up behind us and a bus coming towards us. Again, the smoothness is similar to the front camera, 30 frames per second. It's acceptable. You could definitely read the characters on the registration and on the writing and the road signs as well. So it's definitely worth having the rear camera for insurance purposes, and I think overall this is a good package to have the rear camera added as well. And that concludes my DIY tutorial of a Fitcamx dashcam. If you would like to purchase one for your Mercedes, please use my affiliated link in the description below for an 8% discount. Please remember to like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.